Another game which kind of came out of the blue in this particular state of play was the arrival, the debut of Sonic X Shadow Generations. Now, I'm going to have to obviously defer to our resident Sonic expert here, John. John.
Is that a title I should... Yeah, I'll accept the title.
Resident Sonic expert, that would be, that could go on your lower third.
Exactly. That
so
could.
You seemed quite excited by this. I thought Shadow was persona non grata in the Sonic community.
There's a subset of the community that
and
is
there
Shadow.
like some sort of Scrappy Doo rendition of Sonic in there as well? Sonic Junior. What's going on?
Oh, are you okay? You're not familiar with Sonic Generations?
I'm not.
So the original conceit, the original Sonic Generations, the idea was an attempt by Sonic Team to create a fusion of modern 3D Sonic, which at the time was the Boost Sonic style of gameplay, with side-scrolling Sonic.
Right.
So the small Sonic is designed to look more like the original artwork from the Mega Drive games, but realized in 3D, and his stages are all played exclusively as side-scrolling stages.
Oh, okay.
Where the larger Sonic, they play like full 3D Boost Sonic games. And
but they interact.
I have issue. Yeah, they do.
So like
they do actually.
Like
it's like some
Spider-Man
sort of
No Way
weird
Home.
like. Yeah, it's like some kind of weird time warp thing that happens, and they all end up in this strange like white world between levels. It's the story is whatever, but the game itself is actually a lot of fun. It's still a lot of fun today. And it was sort of this revisiting greatest hits of zones from Sonic's past, but all rebuilt and made. I mean, they're completely new levels. They're just based on themes that existed. But it was made for PS3 and Xbox 360.
Yeah.
It did get backwards compatibility on Xbox Series X, so Xbox in general, and it's awesome on there because it did update it to run at 60 frames per second at 4K. But it's still fundamentally a 360 game, and all the UI stuff looks terrible because it's designed for 720p, and it comes with the typical caveats of doing that backwards compatible stuff. So having a native version of Sonic Generations alone is nice. But it seems they've gone the extra mile and have created a ton of new content with Shadow. So it seems like the game itself has been expanded.
Right.
I don't know how much content there will be, whether this is like the equivalent of a small DLC or whether they've made like a mini sequel to the game, but with Shadow. Because the stuff they showed with Shadow is not stuff that's normally in Generations.
Okay, intriguing.
So it's more of that game.
Okay.
And what's interesting is that, I mean, that was made on the Hedgehog engine circa 2011, and that engine has evolved. Obviously, they did Forces, and then the recent one, I guess,
Frontier.
from 2022, Frontiers.
Mm-hmm.
And those all used more advanced versions of the Hedgehog engine. I'm curious if they've updated it for that. It's been confirmed that this is new footage, because they show like a section in the Green Hill Zone at the beginning where the grass is lit incorrectly, one might argue, compared to the original. It's like a new minor rendering bug, and the appearance of that bug that doesn't exist in any version of Sonic Generations suggests that this is indeed actual new footage.
Okay.
Which it's kind of a fun way to figure that out, but hey, there it is.
It's a bit random.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And one thing, I would love it if they could get it up to 120 frames per second. I think they could in terms of demands, but Hedgehog engine games always seem to be capped at 30. Sorry, at 60, not
Right.
30, 60. They're capped at 60. Like if you do Sonic Frontiers on the PC, for instance, and all the other ones, they're all limited to 60 max, and mods to unlock it cause physics issues and other stuff like that. So,
Any thoughts on this one, Oliver?
No, not too many. I'm not very familiar with the original title, but this does look interesting.
it's okay.
It does look interesting. Well, thank you, John, for forgiving me. No, I think this looks cool. I mean, Shadow's in there. I have no idea what that means in this context, but I think it's cool that someone, at least one person, is a big fan of this announcement.
What is the Shadow thing? Why is there controversy over Shadow, John? Just for those who
Wait,
aren't...
there's controversy?
Well, people don't like him for some reason. I'm curious as to...
So he was
reason.
introduced in Sonic Adventure 2 on the Dreamcast as sort of a counter to Sonic. He was part of the villain side, but he's not actually a villain, and he's been in many, many games since then. And he's largely considered part of the 3D Sonic era canon, so I think fans that are more into the older games are less predisposed to enjoy his presence. I don't mind him. He's fine.
Okay.
I have nothing to really say on that. The Sonic fandom, though, don't Google it. Don't go and just trust me on this. Just enjoy the games and pretend that all the other stuff around it is not happening. The only thing you should pay attention to is the Sonic Amateur Games Expo and the stuff born out of that. That's good. Everything else, though.
Okay, fair enough. I'll bear that in mind.